Everyone, it's Robin, Artist Island Crafts, and welcome to my studio. This is my Whip It Wednesday video where I show you the crafty goodness that I worked on this week. We are going at this angle today because I have a lot of things to show you and I want to make sure you can see them easily. I have no clue what my voice sounds like. It always sounds pretty good in my head, but I am probably running about 90-95% better. Just a little sinus voice sounding thing going on. But thank you guys so much for checking in on me. I am doing good. I am being creative again. I'm using my sewing machine, working on my space, and just having a decent time. This is not anything crafty and creative yet. This is a blank t-shirt from Dollar Tree. It is one of their basic simple Gildan. The next level up is like a Gildan soft. So I wanted you to know that these, when I purchased these last week, they were on sale for $2.50 at Joann's. If they still are, I'll have to double check and I'll put it down here. But if they still are and you're looking for some t-shirts to either wear or craft with, then now might be a good time to pick them up. Yes, I've had issues with the Gildan t-shirts, hit and miss. I do prefer the ones that have the tag here stamped on the back of the shirt. Those ones tend to be a little bit longer in their length. These do tend to be a bit wider and a little bit shorter. But for $2.50, I am not going to complain. I went ahead and added to my t-shirt collection. This looks like it might be a little bit long. I get an extra large. This is actually red and not some weird orange color, but when you're recording on the iPhone, it does weird things. And I'm mentioning this on a crafty video because I have a couple t-shirt projects coming up, and it's nice to have a variety of t-shirts coming into the house that are brand new. I don't mind crafting with old t-shirts, but when you're making a video, sometimes it's nice to have something brand new. One of the things I might do with some of them, or I might use these in other projects, but I was at the Dollar Tree this morning and I found these iron-on transfers. So I have 3, 6, and 9 cactus, 3, 6, 8 of the pineapples, and they're $1.25. They are fabric. I haven't opened them yet because I just got home from the Dollar Tree and I wanted to make a video before I do lunch. I saw cats and dogs and pineapples and cactuses and birds and feathers and a couple of other things. But of course, being in Arizona now, and I've always loved cacti, so I decided to get some of these. Okay, it looks like you have to, okay, no, there's a papery bit on the back, and you can go ahead. Can you see right there where they just kind of like peel off? So I'm going to guess that there's like a heat and bond type product behind this whole sheet, and then these are just punched out. So you can add one of these to the pocket, you could add it to the sleeve, maybe you prefer the pineapples or the birds or the feathers. So that's one of the projects I'm going to try. I'm going to iron these on. It doesn't say that you need to stitch these down, but it also doesn't say that you can't stitch through them. So I will do a little test to see if I can stitch through just like somewhere over here and see if it gums up my needle. Because it doesn't necessarily say what you have on here. Preheat iron to 120 Celsius. Put it down for 40 to 60 seconds. Don't use steam. Don't move your iron. You know the basic things about doing a patch. Turn your shirt inside out and don't wash it for 48 hours. And then you can hand or machine wash it. Do not dry clean. So I'm going to do a little search on YouTube, see if anyone else has used these and whether or not they sew through them. Otherwise, if you can't sew through them, I still think they'd be fun for fabric postcards, definitely. And then possibly like coin pouches or something like that. We'll just have to see how long they last on a t-shirt, and I'll just wear whatever I put this on for a t-shirt, whatever one I put on a t-shirt, I'll make sure I wear that t-shirt often so that it gets washed constantly. Or I'll just wash it whether I wear it or not, and it'll be able to figure out how well these last. So $2.50 for a t-shirt. If it only lasts me a summer, I think that's still a great price. I did the rainbow hearts when I was in Florida and sewed this little quilt top together with my patrons. So this weekend I decided to go ahead and put it together into a mini. You can see I cross-hatched it in a light gray. I already had the batting and the backing set up, so I just went ahead and did my spray adhesive and got everything nicely quilted. And then as you can see, I went and I did rainbow fabric all the way around it. Now because I stitch on the back and bring it to the front, I thought I was doing the Roy G. Biv this way, but I forgot. I'm going to flip it over so my rainbow goes counterclockwise, but I don't care. I like counterclockwise, and I think it works really great. I had some shorter pieces, so I stitched two of the same blue together, and then I added a little bit of purple in there, so I have two of them. I had a small bit. So the same thing with the red. It's two different red fabrics, and that big bold orange going all the way around. Got lucky though, and it worked out that this orange stripe got it in the orange corner. I only used fabrics for the binding that were in the little hearts, and since these came out of my 1.5 inch strip bin, it was really easy to do my single fold binding using 1.5 inch strips from that same bin. I was really excited when I found my bin. I've had them in a Ziploc baggie. I found them. I moved them somewhere, and then I refound them, and I was really excited to get them back on my Scrappy shelves. The black shelves here that you see behind me in a regular Whip It Wednesday video. I haven't found all of my bits yet for the rainbow zipper pouches, the Quilt As You Go versions that I was working on. I found the two that I made, but not the stuff that I'd had set up. So that's what I'm looking for next. And it's really... I feel like it's a weird way of doing things right now, unpacking. My closet is, let's just say my closet's clean. Then I unpack 2 or 3, 4 or 5 boxes, and if I have fabric and crafting stuff, I just put it in the closet, shove it on a shelf, set it on the floor. So that way I don't have a mess here in the room. So after I get those boxes unpacked on, say, Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, somewhere in there, I go in the closet and I clean it and reorganize it, and then I start back over. So at any given time, I really don't know where anything is in this house. One of the things I'm working on is new scrap strip bundles for my Etsy shop. I have more novelty fabric than I realized, so I have been pulling it out and cutting it into random size strips, 2.5, 3, whatever I feel like. It's all novelty ones. So if you've purchased these scrap bundles from me before, I think there might be a couple duplicates in this batch, but for the most part, I think it's all new fabrics. Those of you who have purchased it, you can let me know. When I cut the strips, they're all the same on the top because I just take a strip and I lay it down across, because I could fit 6 little bundles here, and then I lay it down again. Right now, these weigh 12 ounces, so I'm going for a little over a pound. A pound is 16 ounces. I usually go for like 17 and change, maybe 18 ounces, just to make sure if you pull a fabric out that you don't like, you'll still have plenty. And I mention this because I pulled another box in from the garage and it was full of novelty fabrics. So I have one of those large clear Rubbermaid type clear totes that are taller than these. And that's almost full now of more novelty fabrics that I can cut up for scraps to put in the shop for you guys to play with. My next round, I think I'm going to do maybe all 6-inch strips. So for those of you that want to do more than just work with like crumbs and scraps and jelly rolls and stuff like that, you'll have more with the fabric to play with. As I've been unpacking boxes, I realized that I have been using my fabric as like bubble wrap and packing paper. So almost every single box that I've gone into has had some form of fabric in it. So one of the boxes I emptied recently had a whole bunch of these scraps. Now some of these I've had for quite a while. I actually made shorts out of these and I made boxers out of this print. Some of these have been shared with me. I made a pair of overalls out of this fabric. I made a quilt with that fabric. So there's just a little bit of everything in here. A few years ago, one of my viewers, my very generous viewers, said that they could not afford to support me financially on my channel. They couldn't send money. They couldn't purchase from my shop and stuff like that. It just wasn't in their budget. But one of the things they could do is they could send me some of their novelty fabrics And that way they can support my channel so that I can use the novelty fabrics to make videos, and then I can also take it and sell it in my shop in order to keep supporting what I do. So thank you so much for that viewer, and for every viewer that shares with me or supports me by watching my videos. You guys are what keeps me going. I really appreciate you guys coming hanging out, subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, leaving comments, and then when you share some of your fun fabrics with me. So these are going to go in the shop also. I'll weigh them out in 1 pound increments, and they're just going to be, they're all random. You never know what size of anything you're going to get. So it's all different, and it's not necessarily cut perfect. This one was cut out of something. I could see where I drew a line on the side. So I cut that out, and then you got a couple of other ones of the same. Just random bits from when I was either evening up my bolts of fabric. When I have them in my shelves, I like to make sure that there's not necessarily a straight ruler line that's even and level, but just a straight cut so that there's not weird bits falling off. So then I take those weird bits and I put them in either my rainbow scrap bins behind me on the black bookcase, or I just put them in one of these containers. And if I'm not using these, then there's no sense letting them take up space. It's better off that someone else can play with them and have some new scraps to play with. I get a lot of comments, I wish I had some of your fabric. I wish I had scraps to work with. You have fun fabric. So now, once these get into the Etsy shop, you guys can have fun fabric to play with too. It's going to take me a little bit to get all of those scraps into the shop because I want to do more than just put the 6 1 pound bundles in, because some people really enjoy them and they buy 2 or 3 bundles, and if I put 6 in and 3 people buy it, then 4 people can't buy it. So I want to make sure I have enough to keep you guys going for a little bit. Now, while going through these boxes and finding random bits of fabric, and as I was cutting it up for strips, I found this fun dog fabric. And I just couldn't cut it up for strips, so I made it into zipper pouches. So these are basically a coin pouch, or you can use it to put some credit cards and your driver's license in. So I thought it was really fun, just the way that it landed, to have this poodle type dog there, and then you got the Cocker Spaniel and the pugs. So it's really a fun fabric, and I said, nope, it has to be a zipper pouch to go into the shop. After I made those and I went into another box, I found this fun fabric that someone shared with me. And I thought, you know what, I can't cut that up either. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this into something. I might be able to get a zipper pouch out of it. Otherwise, I'll make a couple coin pouches, which I have a feeling it's going to end up being coin pouches. So I'll be able to put those into the shop also once they're made. When you have fabric that is this realistic and this cute, I just couldn't cut it up. Once I make these, you'll see them in another video and they'll go into the shop, and these should already be in the shop as you're watching this video. I hope to get the heart one in also. I just need to get some good pictures. Now, speaking of hearts, I worked on a heart project with my patrons. Now, this was a scrappy heart project, but I decided to just use all white hearts with a red background and a pink border on it. I thought that might be a little bit different and a little bit fun. Instead of everything being red and pink and purple for the hearts, let's go ahead and reverse it up a little bit and have white hearts with the red background. Now, this right now measures just over 20 inches, so my plan in the near future is to get this all quilted and then trim it down to an 18-inch pillow form. I'm trying to make more pillow tops, so since 2024, for me, I'm saying it's the year of pillows, I can make pillow tops either here with my patrons or just for fun myself on the weekend, because a nice little 20-inch or smaller project is a really quick and great project to make. And then I can take this after it's quilted and turn it into a pillow with you guys as part of one of my Friday tutorials. I may or may not show the actual quilting process, but Because I have a lot of videos with quilting, so we'll see how that goes. I'll play it by ear, but I'll definitely explain my quilting choice, how I did it, and why I chose to do it. And then we'll learn different ways to create a pillow, because there's a lot of different ways to make a pillow, a quilted pillow cover or just a fabric pillow cover. For those that are curious about the back, I can see easily that everything is not squared up, but that's why I made it a little bit larger so that after it's quilted, because quilting can kind of do this and wonk it and shrink it up too, and then afterwards I can trim it all down because I know my centerpiece is nice and square and ready to go, and then I'll just trim it up to match that, and I won't worry about all the extra because that gives me that little extra breathing room for when I quilt it. Now from that project, I did make a bunch of the hourglass blocks. Now the difference between, as far as I can tell, an hourglass block and a quarter square triangle, hourglass has the actual hourglass shape, so it's 2 fabrics and they're like that. If all 4 fabrics were different, then it would be a quarter square triangle. So those are all of the offcuts from here, doing the stitch and flip corners. I need to get up a design wall soon. I don't have space for a design wall, but I'm going to do a portable one where I can just hang a piece of cotton batting up across my doors or across the bookcase or on a wall somewhere, lay everything out, pin it on, roll it up, put it in the closet, and pull it back out as I work on it. Because I really want to start working on this project where I'm taking the flying geese and all of my scrappy bits and turn them into a fun quilt. I also have the project where I have all of my bonus blocks, I have all of the tester blocks and stuff. When, oh, here's a 9 patch, let me see if the numbers work. Here's the tester block. And then I just put it away in a bin, and I could put all those together, and it'll be a really like a block of the month or a tester block or whatever you want to call it. It'll just be a fun scrappy quilt. I'm just going through my little bin here where I keep it over on the side to see what I have and haven't shown you. I showed you guys this a long time ago. I made this with my patrons. It needs to go into the shop. Here we go. Last week's tutorial were the quick and easy Easter eggs with the little pockets in there so you could put treats in it. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed that video and you guys have your own jumping off ideas of different things that you can do with this basic design. And I'm pretty sure everyone saw from the last live stream all of these blocks. These will also get turned into a pillow, well, 2 pillows that we will then be able to use for the next tutorial. Really kind of digging these. I might just keep these for myself. I finally found it's a 1.5 inch chair. It's not a love seat and it's not a chair. It's enough for 2 really thin people to sit, like maybe 2 children to sit side by side, or 1 person who wants to kind of like kick their feet up underneath them, lean over a little bit and read a book. I'll show you that when it arrives. Of all strange places, Home Depot. Home Depot has got it now. I haven't seen the quality of their products yet, but they've been getting great reviews online. They have the drawer systems. They have, like filing cabinets and bookcases and tables and chairs and all kinds of furniture. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that chair and seeing just how it's going to work, because I'm really looking forward to sitting. I'm looking forward to a lot, apparently, to being able to sit down in the morning and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee while I hang out with the girls and I kind of slowly wake up. And in the evening when I'm done working for the day, I need somewhere to sit down, watch a movie, fall asleep while watching a movie while I start knitting on some socks and other projects. I received a fun postcard in the mail. I am really into these citrusy colors right now. The oranges, the yellows, and the greens that are very, very citrusy colors. Like the, what was it, the fruit stripes gum and stuff like that. So I'm really into that. I was watching Coriander Quilt. She did a wonky log cabin block recently. I will go ahead and put a link down below in the description box, but here's a picture of the quilt she was working on. and also a picture of the stash behind her. And that's only a little bit of her stash. She has a downstairs filming studio and an upstairs studio where she sews. So there's fabric all over. It is just really beautiful. So that scrappy log cabin that she was working on, it is gorgeous. I just really love these deep, bright sunrise, sunset, tropical, citrusy colors. So thank you so much for my butterfly. I love my butterflies. We don't have butterflies here yet because there's really not that many bushes. I did purchase some flower seeds from the Dollar Tree. I found that zinnias and marigolds were like the perfect flower to grow in Florida. I just kind of scattered it in the dirt, pushed some dirt over it, and when it rained, they grew. I will pay a little bit more attention here since it doesn't really rain and they'll need to be watered, but I'm hoping to get some flowers growing all along that back cement wall and stuff like that. And then maybe we'll get some butterflies. I did see my first lizard type creature. We had the little tiny lizards in Florida and they would run all around the yard, and I made little rock places for them to hide from the birds because the birds like to, come down and eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the cats love looking at them out the window. Speaking of cats, someone shared with me some fun scrappy cat fabric from a project they were working on. It's so cute. This will definitely have to be turned into something fun or a variety of fun projects. But anyway, I saw a lizard up on the wall. It wasn't a little tiny little lizard. It was a big guy, and I totally forgot. My daughter reminded me that when it gets below 50 degrees, the lizards tend to hibernate. In Florida, they would be up in their trees, living their life. Oh, that's so cute. And then when it got cold, their bodies would kind of like shut down and they would just fall out of the trees, and you would find them just laying around on the roads and people's yards and everything until it warmed up, and then poof, they're back to life. So we had one nice day that was 84. Poof, that lizard was back to life, but now it's back down into the 50s and 60s. So poor lizard, he's hibernating again. Last thing to show you, I received some new blocks for our community quilt. You may have already seen these. I will be putting them on my Patreon page this afternoon. Today's Monday. The video comes out on Wednesday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pin the community blocks to the top of the Patreon page, and it's going to be public so everyone can see them, whether you follow me, you support me on Patreon, or you just follow as a free member. You can click sign up as a free member, and anytime I upload a new blog, a new post, a video, or anything for the free members, then you'll get notified for it if you sign up for emails. Now, these two people said, go ahead and please just trim mine for me. They were worried about, trimming it down to a size that I wanted. They are perfect. This one came from Florida. She wanted to make sure I had something from Florida in my project, so I think that's great. This says Florida right there on it on both sides, and that has all the different cities, Daytona, South Beach, Gulf Island, and stuff like that. I don't see, there's Miami, no Cape Coral or Fort Myers, but places like that don't usually make it onto fabric anyways. This one has fun turtles and birds and other little creatures on it. Sunflower, I'm going to say that's a sunflower. It kind of looks like it to me. So this one is really nice also. And then this one has a bulldog on it, and this one was in memory of their bulldog. So I think that's really sweet, and I feel very blessed that you want to share that and put it into our community quilt. You guys know I love my batiks. So I'm not going to trim anything down yet. I will wait until I start putting pieces together. So if you want to go ahead and see these and zoom in on them or anything like that, I'll put them on my Patreon page, and then I will add the first name and the last initial. Now, when you send in things like this, whether you send me a fabric postcard or you send me some scraps or you're sending in the community blocks, totally up to you, but I do appreciate when you include your mailing address so I can send you a fabric postcard in return, or I could send you a thank you card for sending me some of these fun little kitty pack going to the beach or the pool type of fun fabric like that, I love to be able to send out one of my Scrappy fabric cards to say thank you. And for the community quilt, I have something special in mind that anyone who contributes a block, I will be sending a little something in the mail. So if you'd like, include your address, and if you don't want to receive anything in the mail, just put it in a note. It's good to have your return address on it just in case it gets lost in the mail, and just let me know in a note, Robin, please don't send anything. Otherwise, I'll send you a nice little something something. Probably, let's be realistic, it'll probably be a fabric postcard or a fabric thank you note card, one way or the other. I thought I was done, but I have one last thing to mention. I picked up some foam core board, 3, 6, 8 of them from the Dollar Tree this morning. I think the universe wants me to get used to using black because the only foam core board was this black. And for those that were curious, you can see how thin it is. My ruler is in inches, so it looks like, let's just say it's about 1/8 of an inch wide. And these are all 20 by 30, and I thought it said that on there somewhere. Oh, it says it on my receipt. I knew I saw it somewhere. So I'm going to be turning these into new design boards. I will put that video down in the pinned comment. So if anyone wants to make design boards, I have a hot glue method, and then I have one where you use the no-sew red heat and bond. That one is really great. I do have, while unpacking in one of my mystery boxes, I found some batting, and I think it's not cotton. I think it's more of a polyester batting, but it's not that kind. There's a polyester batting that just feels like it's going to fall apart. So this one might have a little bit of cotton in it or something, but I'm going to go ahead and use that so that way I don't waste my good batting on it. But I find that I really need some design boards, especially when I'm working on all of these quilt-along projects so that I can have things set up. I know I like the 18-inch size, so I might just make all of mine 18. These are 20 by 30, so if I make them all 18, I will have a bit left over, but I can always use some duct tape and duct tape the pieces together so that I can get more boards out of it that way. I only had a couple at home in Florida, and they did bend, as you might be able to see here. They do bend a little bit. I mean, I would really have to push on it, but by just putting my hand on here like this, I did make that little crack happen there. So you just have to be a little careful with them. But yeah, I'm going to put my batting on. I'm going to put the spray adhesive or some Elmer's glue or something, put a pressing cloth over it and give it a good, nice, hot, steamy iron. And then I will put some binding around it. I'll find probably, I don't know, I might make them all one fabric, or I might decide to use a couple different fabrics. But thank you guys so much for your support and for always hanging out with me. And I will see you in the next video. Oh, wait. We need a Scrappy Word of the Day. I want to get back into choosing randomly some people. When you use the Scrappy Word of the Day down in your comment, I like to say, hey, come down below and leave a comment under yours and say, I would love to send you one of my fabric postcards if you could just email me your mailing address. Not everyone notices when they get a notification from YouTube where someone has left a comment, which is why mostly I've been doing it during the live streams, but I really want to get back into it by also leaving a Scrappy Word of the Day. Sometimes people aren't sure what to leave for a comment, so if I give them a word and I say something like, your Scrappy Word of the Day is hearts. Did you make any Valentine's Day projects? And you can be like, no, Robin, I didn't make any heart projects for Valentine's Day, but I'm working on a really fun Easter project. And that gives you something to comment instead of seeing 20 comments above you saying, oh, great video, I loved your hearts. I know for me, when I see that, I'm like, I don't want to leave the same comment that 20 people already said. What can I say a little different to let the person know that I loved what they worked on? And then still be able to leave a comment. So I could say something like, oh, having an 1.5-inch Scrappy rainbow bin, that's a great idea. I'm so glad you mentioned it, because now I'm going to create one for myself. I love your hearts. Your rainbow hearts are cool looking. So that way you use your Scrappy word of the day, you leave a fun comment, and you don't feel like you're just copying everyone else. Now, hey, if you want to leave the same comment everyone else does, that's fine with me. It's probably my own little quirk, because I've learned that over the years that I have a lot of quirks. Just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. But anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and all of my quirks and quirkiness. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.